Hi there, this is Chris from IELTS Advantage, and here are 7 reasons why you'll fail the IELTS test in 2019. Now, why should you watch this video? So, we get I'd say around 1,000 emails a day. So we interact with about 1,000 students through email and social media, and the vast majority of those interactions are with people who have failed the test. And we've been doing this for more than 5 years now online. And we have noticed that there are 7 common things that come up again and again and again. And even if you're doing just one of these things, you're pretty much guaranteeing that you're going to fail the test. So what I want to do today in this video is talk about those 7 things so that you can avoid them and start preparing properly and get the scores that you need in 2019. So number 1, you think doing lots of practice tests is the answer. The most common thing we get is from people who say, I've done 50 practice tests. I've done all the Cambridge practice tests, and I've done, practice test after practice test after practice test. Why am I not getting the score I need? So the conclusion that I draw from that is that people think that doing practice tests is going to improve their scores. It's not. There are many things you need to do in order to get the score you need. Practice is just a very small part of it. You need to learn what to do properly. You need feedback on your work. You need to improve your weaknesses, identify your weaknesses. There are so many things that you need to do, and practice is just a very, very small part of that. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't practice. It is important, but it is just like, let's say, 10-20% of what you really need to do, and you're missing out that 80-90%. Also, practice without feedback is completely useless. I can't learn how to, let's say, for example, drive a car by just driving a car around and around and around. You need a driving instructor sitting beside you, correcting your mistakes and giving you feedback on what you're doing well and what you're not doing so well. It's exactly the same with IELTS. If you are just doing, speaking test after speaking test or writing test after writing test, and no one is telling you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, then you're wasting your time. It's actually less than useless, because by wasting that time, you're not focusing on the things that are actually going to help you improve your score, and you're spending your time on something that is not actually helping you at all. So in order to get the scores that you need to focus on the things that matter and spend less time focusing on the things that don't matter. In other words, do things that improve your score and don't do things that don't improve your score. That sounds very simple, and it sounds very logical when you say it that way. But I'd say the vast majority of students don't do that, and they don't follow that because they're spending time on things that just really don't improve their scores and ignoring the things that do. Number 2, using lots of big words will get you a high score. If you believe this, you're going to fail. If you believe that you can learn a list of band 9 vocabulary or learn a list of magic words or high-level words and use them in your speaking or your writing tests, you're pretty much guaranteeing that you're going to fail. Vocabulary is an important part of the test. However, inserting lots of big words is not the same as using vocabulary effectively. Your vocabulary score is linked to that. Your vocabulary score is determined by your ability to use vocabulary effectively. You are being judged on accuracy. You're being judged on appropriacy. Is it appropriate to use that word? Are you using that word accurately? Learning lists of words does not teach you how to use those words. So you'll see this again and again and again. If you're an examiner and you're looking at essays every day, you'll notice very, very quickly that the majority of students use this technique. And maybe their teachers taught them this, or maybe it's just a natural conclusion that they came to, that, vocabulary is important, so I'll learn lots of words, put them in my essay, and I'll get a high score. Just putting words in your essay, and big words, is not really going to help you, because it will actually lower your score because you're using them inaccurately and inappropriately. Number 3, following an expert or a guru, somebody who says that they're a guru or an expert and they can really, really help you. Let's talk about that. So IELTS is big business in many countries. In many countries, it is the thing that is going to get you out of that country or get you the new life or the new job that you want. people are desperate to get the scores that they need. They might have a lot of pressure on them financially or a lot of pressure from their families to get a high IELTS score. What happens when you have lots of desperate people who are willing to pay a lot of money? Think about that. What happens when you have millions of people who are willing to pay money to get an end result? What you'll get is you'll get a lot of people pretending that they're experts, pretending that they're gurus when they know nothing about what they're doing. And why are they doing that? Because it's easy to make money. So we will get a huge number of emails every single day from people who say, my teacher told me to do ABC, or my guru, or my expert, or in my country, this person is the leading guru and he told me to do X, Y, Z, and it's completely wrong. So be very, very, very careful who you give your money to. Don't give your money to someone who just says that they're brilliant at what they do. They should be able to prove that to you through, if somebody is really an expert and is great at what they do, then they will have hundreds or thousands of people who they have helped who will be talking about them. So don't go with someone who just says that they have the secret to getting a band 9 or they're the leading expert. Get them to prove it to you. Number 4, learning grammar structures and phrases. The key to a high grammar score is the ability to use the appropriate grammar and do so accurately. Learning grammar structures and phrases is not going to allow you to do that. Learning phrases and structures will lead to lots of mistakes. Lots of mistakes will lead to a lower score. That is very solid logic. If you're using grammar you don't understand, you're going to make lots of mistakes. If you make lots of mistakes, you're going to get a lower score. Instead of listening to people who tell you, the secret to getting a high score is to use these grammar structures or these phrases, just apply basic logic. How is my grammar being judged? Well, one of the ways that it's being judged, the primary way that you're being judged on grammar, is the number of mistakes that you're making. If you're making lots of mistakes, you're going to get a lower grammar score. So how do you improve your grammar? You lower the number of mistakes that you're making. You do that by making yourself aware of the individual mistakes that you're making. What are your common weaknesses? What are your biggest weaknesses? And working on those areas until you really improve your grammar. Because learning structures and phrases, that's just a cheat. That's a hack. And these things are designed to be alluring to students so that you'll give people money. Whereas if you tell someone, actually your grammar isn't very good and you need to work very hard in order to improve that, people don't want to hear that. So be very, very careful about people who tell you there's an easy way of getting a higher score. You can improve your grammar, but you can't do it by learning structures and phrases. Number 5, doing your test at a particular test centre. Many people believe that the British Council or IDP is easier. You'll get 50% of people saying that the BC is easier. Then you'll get another 50% of people saying IDP is easier. Funny that, isn't it? Many others believe particular countries or particular cities or examiners are easier. This is like a fat person trying to find a mirror that makes them look good instead of eating better food or exercising. How do you improve your IELTS scores? You improve your IELTS scores by doing things like improving your English, improving your awareness of the different tests, improving your test-taking ability, improving your writing skills, your speaking skills, your reading skills, your listening skills. You're not going to improve your English magically by going and doing it in a different city, or doing it in a different country, or doing it at the BC, or doing it at IDP. If you are thinking this way, you're looking for an easy way out, and you're really in denial of the fact that you need to improve your English. You need to improve your skills. You need to do a lot of work. So instead of being like that fat person looking for a mirror that will help them look good, don't be delusional. Don't lie to yourself. Be realistic and realize that it is very easy. It's very simple to improve your scores, but you do need to put in the work. Number 6, doing a crash course. You will not magically improve your English in a week or two. You can't do some crash course in a week. or 2 weeks where you're sitting in a room with 50 other people. It's just not possible. No school, expert, or guru has a magic secret that they can teach you. I often visit countries where IELTS is very popular, and you'll always see signs up on the street saying, join my band 9 school and I'll get you a band 9 in 2 weeks. Like, these are all marketing techniques, and they're all lies, unfortunately. Anyone can improve their scores, but it takes time and hard work. Number 7, any type of memorization. You can't memorize answers and then hope to use these in the test. You can't memorize speaking answers. You can't memorize writing answers. You can't memorize vocabulary or grammar structures or phrases or anything like that. Why not? It's not a memorization test. All right? It's not like when you were in school and you had to memorize your times tables, like, 2 by 2, is 2 by 3 is. It's not like that. It's not a memorization test. It's an English test. And you don't improve any language by memorizing stuff. That's not how you learn a language. If this worked, there would just be one book on IELTS. All right, think about how many websites there are. Think about how many books there are. Think about how many courses there are. If it was just a memorization test, there would be just one book with lots of answers in it, and you just memorize them. Looking at band 7, band 8, band 9 answers and memorizing them is completely useless. It's a completely useless use of your time. And I'm not saying this to be harsh. I'm saying this because I want to save you money and time and effort. Because if you're doing these 7 things, then you're going to waste a huge amount of time and money by failing the test over and over and over again. So it might sound harsh, but it is coming from a place where I just want you guys to pass the test next time and not waste all these useful resources. So is there an answer? Is there a way that you can get the scores you need? Fortunately, yes, of course there is. And it all has to do with your mindset. It all comes from your attitude to the test. Your attitude to your preparation and your test is the key factor. And I'll be sharing 9 common things our successful students do tomorrow in a free course. So tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday, I'm going to do a brand new free course. And what I decided to do was to take all our successful students to look at all the interviews that we've done with them. So one of the things that I do with my successful students is I interview them after they get the scores they need. And then I looked at any common factors that were coming up. And there were 9 things that came up again and again and again. And anybody can learn these things. So put it together into a free course, but you have to join this course before you can access it. So click the link above or below this video. You'll find it in the description or anywhere above or below the video, and just give me your name and your email address and we'll send you the joining instructions for this course. And it all begins tomorrow on Tuesday the 18th of December 2018, and hope to see you in there. Hope that you find that useful, and I'll see you in the new course. Bye bye.